High School in Portsmouth, Virginia. It's the 71st annual Portsmouth Invitational Basketball Tournament. 64 of the top college basketball seniors from around the country showcase their skills in front of hundreds of professional scouts, general managers, and agents. Alongside David Solomon and James Blackburn, I'm Matthew Half, and we're glad you are tuned into our coverage all week long live here as it's the Sales Systems taking on K&D Rounds Landscape Services. It'll be Sales Systems in the blue uniforms with the basketball to start things off, and K&D in the green unis. Fellas, good to be with you on the call for this. It should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, excited to be back, Matt. This is always one of my favorite events of the year. And, yeah, it's great to be on the broadcast. I'm really excited about seeing some basketball this week.
Let's go through the starting lineups for these two teams as the first jumper was off the mark, but a three-point shot is knocked down for the guys in green from K&D Rounds Landscape Services. That's the 6'1" guard from Ole Miss, Sean Padula, the Edmond, Oklahoma native, known for knocking down threes. He once played at Virginia Tech, and he made 154 threes with the Hokies. Trying to answer right back, though. It's going to be Sales Systems missing the jumper that goes out of bounds. The starting lineup for Padula and company as they got the first basket of this contest, featuring Padula wearing number 4. You have Chase Hunter, the 6'5" guard from Clemson, wearing 11. Number 14, Jaden Akins, a 6'4" guard from Michigan State. Number 20, the 6'11" center from Arkansas, Jonas Adu. And number 23, Jonathan Pierre, the 6'9" forward from Belmont, as we got a whistle on the other end here. So that rounds out the lineup for K&D. As for Sales Systems, it'll be number 10, Ty Johnson, a 6'3" guard from UC Davis, a native of Chicago, Illinois. Wooga Poplar wearing number 15, a 6'5" guard from Villanova, a Philadelphia native. Jawan Roberts, 6'8" forward from Houston. He's out of the Virgin Islands. Number 23, David Joplin, a 6'8" forward from Marquette. And number 24, 6'11" center Daniel Bacho from Louisiana Tech. He by way of Paris, France. And at the foul line for K&D, it's going to be number 23, Jonathan Pierre. But David, I know you're very intrigued to see what Roberts can do in this setting because he was in the national championship game earlier this month for Houston against the Florida Gators.
You know, the array of talent here is absolutely stunning. We've, seen tremendous talent come through the PIT year after year, but this year, Matt, is really spectacular. A lot of it has to do with the number of 5-year players and seniors who have been available, and it's really just going to be an amazing event. I would say to anyone in the Tidewater area, if you haven't been out, this is the PIT to come to.
Both free throws good from here to make it a 5-0 lead. Ball's loose out of bounds. It's going to go the other direction. And to echo that, what David said, James, I mean, you think of the names that have come through this event, names like John Stockton and Jimmy Butler and Dennis Rodman. The list goes on. And, oh, by the way, a guy that was part of the NBA champion Boston Celtics from a season ago, and Derek White, not too long ago.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, every year this event has always turned out great talent, and like David said, this year we're seeing a lot of older players, not 22-year-olds, but 24, 25-year-olds here. So the basketball should be pretty exciting, a lot of up and down. They let them get after it here at Portsmouth. A lot of physical play and great flow to the games.
It was a steal by Joplin, the Milwaukee, Wisconsin product, who was the Big East Sixth Man of the Year winner in 2022-23, then started 37 games for Marquette the season before, but he goes out of bounds again, and now Sales Systems trying to build on the 5-point lead as we're just a couple minutes going by. We're glad you're tuned in here with the basketball now. It's going to be stolen away again, and guess who's got the rock? It's Sean Padula with the head fake and the layup off the glass for 2. A quick 7-0 burst for K&D Rounds.
This was the team that I picked, Matt, before the game. K&D is going to be a tough out in this tournament.
For ACC fans in the Virginia area, Padula had a remarkable career at Virginia Tech, and he really proved how remarkable it was by the run his team made in the tournament this year.
Absolutely helping Ole Miss make the Sweet 16 with 3 efforts of 20-plus points against North Carolina, Iowa State, and Michigan State. Long jumpers off the mark, as this time it's going to be an empty trip for K&D Rounds, one of their first in our opening quarter. And 7-0 lead here for the K&D Round squad on Sales Systems. A couple of tweaks we've noticed to some of the rules in recent years, James and David, for folks out there wondering. There's actually now an Elam ending to this if it does go to overtime.
No, exactly. And those not familiar with the Elam ending, they debuted that in the TBT tournament, the big $1 million tournament that you guys see in the summertime. But the Elam ending will take the score, the team that's winning, or actually it's going to be in overtime, so both teams will be tied, and we'll add 8 points to that. And whichever team gets to those 8 points first wins it. So there's no clock. Then we'll do away with the clock in that situation.
Matt, what do you think of that? That really adds some real validity to the whole Elam concept, which a lot of people thought was a little shaky when it was introduced.
Yeah, I think it makes more excitement and drama, which is what you want in these type of settings. It's not so much an all-star game. It's also more of a, what you would say, a job tryout for folks out there that are watching for the first time. And a three-point shot is good as that one is knocked down for Jaden Akins. He from Michigan State, and we got a timeout on the floor with 7:10 on the clock. Akins, who helped Michigan State reach the Elite Eight as the only returning starter from the season before. As we watch it again on the replay, look at us dialing it up from distance to give them a double-digit lead early on.
And that's something that Akins is going to have to show this week. Akins is you don't see a lot of four-year guys staying at the same university, but he was at Michigan State all 4 years, has won a ton of basketball games for Izzo there, and he's a really good defender, but he's a guy that wants to show that he can knock down that NBA three this week, and he's doing it right now.
For folks that are tuning in for the first time to the PIT, 71 years of great history. David, what are folks looking for that the scouts, the analysts, but also the fans out there when you come to this type of an event? Because some of these players have seen each other before, but some haven't.
Well, it's not just about the NBA, although the PIT takes tremendous pride in all the amazing players that have come through here, beginning with Bobby Crimmins, Earl Monroe, Jimmy Walker, the list goes on and on. But the European scouts, the Asian scouts, they're here taking notes. They're observing guys that they're going to see. If they don't get involved with them this year, they're going to be noticing these guys. And for those guys, this is the first time they have ever seen them play. The NBA guys have had their scouts scouring the NCAA. They know who they are. Of course, they want to be here and see them in this environment because it's just a star-studded event. But the Euro and the Asian guys, this is the first time they've seen them. So they get a chance to impress some pretty substantial people in the basketball world.
Good start for K&D Rounds. They knocked down 3 of their first 4 shots from the field, with half of those points coming from Sean Padula, who once played as college basketball, as we highlighted, in this state, averaged 15.4 points per game this past season for Ole Miss.
So we go at the 5-minute mark, right?
Yeah, Sean Padula, Matt, of course we talked about him at Virginia Tech, but at Ole Miss this year, he did a really good job of scoring the ball and also having a low turnover ratio too.
Okay, full timeout. We got to throw it back.
All right. So 7:10 on our first quarter clock. It's going to be inbounded from Sales Systems with David Joplin. Gets it into Ty Johnson. 21.1 points per game. He barely played to start his college career at Loyola Chicago, but the last 3 seasons, 93 games for UC Davis. Going to attack off the bounce. And there's Padula with those active hands again, trying to get a rip away.
Yeah, really impressed with Green's energy on the defensive end so far in this game. Blues getting nothing easy. Active hands, jumping to the ball, playing in the help side, and just not giving him any breathing room.
Great knockdown. Talk about breathing room. He took the space and he punished him for it, for letting him have it.
That's Chase Hunter, the Clemson product. 167 college games over 6 seasons, and he's known to knock it down from deep. 77 makes this past season for the Tigers. Little pump fake and getting rid of the rock. It's going to be Akins getting it from Padula. Misfire, but the offensive rebound long out for K&D Rounds in the green. And now they'll share it with Hunter, getting rid of it over to Padula. Padula looking to attack off the bounce, kicks it, head fake move, looking to attack. It's Hunter. Jump and throw down low to Adu, whose shot will roll around and in, so the lead increases as they've got a 15-point advantage here, and we're not even 5 minutes gone by. Lob and the shot underneath. Oh, that's a good way to get your first hoop of the day for Sales Systems. And that's going to be Daniel Bacho from Louisiana Tech, who shot an amazing 68.9% from the floor in 32 games. Hard to beat that type of shooting efficiency. Trying to answer back here in the post, going down low, turning it with it is Pierre. Hands it off, and now it's going to be a traveling violation back over to the guys in blue from Sales Systems. And we got wholesale substitutions across the board, as it looks like a trio of players will be coming in for Sales Systems, which includes Ian Shefflin from Clemson among those.
And also number 10, keep an eye on in green, K&D, Nate Santos, one of the most versatile players here in the field. Dayton product, a guy that's just going to be the ultimate X factor, help your team win, can score the ball, defend, great rebounder, really good passer, excellent in the mid-range. So this is him defending right now on the ball.
And we've got a whistle again here. It's going to be a foul. 13-point advantage for K&D Rounds in the early going. And you bring up, James, the abilities of Nate Santos. Started out his college career at Pittsburgh the first 2 seasons, but then the last 2 at Dayton, and really took off. Identical 41.8% shooting from three-point range, as it's going to be Shefflin getting rid of it over to Johnell Davis. Davis with the off-balance shot that's good. He helped Florida Atlantic make the Final Four a couple years ago and helped Arkansas make the Sweet 16 this past year to make it an 11-point ball game.
Yeah, Davis is a really strong physical guard. You know, can he shoot it reliably from deep? That's the question mark. Shot 35% this year, but when he goes off the bounce like he just did, that's what he does.
There's your guy, Santos, James, getting the hoop underneath. 13-point lead now for K&D Rounds. Landscape Services, coached by Jim Markey, Chris Furman, and Dion Thompson. Double team comes, getting rid of the basketball at Sales Systems, LTD.
Great double.
Slicing through a couple of defenders, but there's going to be a reach in there, as you see. Padula very active defensively in the early going for this one.
Yeah,
he really brings great energy out there.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's making a statement early on.
No, he is. And how many times, I mean, if we had a count for how many deflections you get or steals, I mean, that time he didn't get the steal, but he forced the jump ball. He's probably had at least 2 or 3 so far.
So it looks like we got our
NBA-style jump balls this
first
year.
jump ball since the opening tap. It's going to be one here for the fellows in blue from Sales Systems, as that one is dialed up from deep. Kobe Sanders, lanky 6'8" guard from Nevada out of San Diego, California. He turned in quite a season, almost 16 points per game, 4.5 assists per contest as well for Sales Systems. Now trailing it by 10. Look at the answer. It's Santos and K&D Rounds. That three-point shot's going to be long and rebounded by Johnell Davis. Looking to push now. He'll try a deep 3 ball, and that one's way off the mark. Rebounded for Chase Hunter and K&D Rounds in the green. He'll stop at the 3-point line, a little long. Long rebound comes out to Shefflin, as that time it is Hunter. Played at Clemson, rebounded by his Clemson teammate on the other end, Shefflin, as their opponents in this particular setting. Davis kicks it out. Ball's going to be controlled by Joplin. Over to Johnell Davis, not bashful from 3, as that one's going to be off the mark. Offensive rebound, they give them a second effort as Jawan Roberts kicks it out. Another misfire from deep, and the long rebound comes out to Padula. Sales Systems LTD, coached by Kenneth Harris, PJ Honore, and Damon Jones. Folks remember Damon Jones, who played in the NBA as a guard, and a lot of the locals here in the 757 know Coach Harris, who led Green Run High School to a state basketball championship back in March. It's going to be a pull-up jumper at the foul line, and it's going to be rattling around no good. Rebounded again for Zach Fremantle. We've got a little bit of sloppy play right now. A lot of quick jumpers on both sides.
Matt, you want to see them slow it down and see if they can generate something out of some kind of actions that they've been working on.
Ball's loose, and Roberts gets his hands on it. Up ahead to Joplin. Tries to spin on Padula off the backboard. That one won't go down, and rebounded for Fremantle and the guys in green. Roberts, an interesting player, helped Houston reach the championship game, as we mentioned, and a lot of folks saying he's got some Draymond Green qualities to his game, especially the way he defends, as we've got a timeout on the floor for K&D Rounds. And we'll keep it right here with 2:52 to go in our first quarter.
Yeah, a guy, Matt, to keep an eye on that just checked in, Kobe Sanders. It's interesting because on our rosters, David and Matt, they have the players listed, you know, shortest to tallest, or tallest to shortest, depending on how you say it. And Kobe Sanders is 6'8".
You got to go to a commercial.
All right, we'll take a quick timeout. We'll come back with more here. It's the Portsmouth Invitational Tournament from Churchland High School. Back in just a bit.
You said what?
To the 71st Annual Portsmouth Invitational Basketball Tournament from Churchton High School. It's K&D Rounds on top of Sales Systems 17-7 alongside James Blackbird and David Solomon. I'm Matt Hatfield. We thank Joe Allen, our camera operator extraordinaire upstairs here with us as we broadcast this action to you with K&D Rounds up by 10. And it's going to be a horn sounding, which means a shot clock violation, although we do have a whistle, looks like a call from across the way. And it will remain with K&D Rounds. Foul's going to be on John L. Davis for Sales Systems. 10-point bulge for K&D Rounds, which also leads the rebounding column 11-6. Here's a deep jumper for Nolan Hickman. He of Gonzaga. That one off the mark. Helped Gonzaga win the West Coast Tournament Championship, where they fell in the NCAA tournament after beating Georgia to the Houston Cougars in the round of 32. Here's the inbound now for Sales Systems.
Showing a little bit of full court pressure.
This is Kobe Sanders, Matt. I was talking about 6'8" from Nevada, plays the guard position. Really versatile, crafty, and he's going to be the tallest guard in the field. So that was him bringing the ball up. Really interesting prospect for NBA teams to watch.
Yeah, he spent 4 seasons at Cal Poly, then finished up at Nevada to conclude with 1,531 points in his college career. Double team underneath as it's Jay Nakins able to get rid of it, and a long-range jumper that is drained by a face that is familiar to those that follow the Big East. Zach Freemantle, the Teaneck, New Jersey native, who is viewed as a stretch four, missed all of the 23-24 campaign due to injury, but bounced back with only 17 points per game this year. Oh, what passing there is a hoop underneath for Daniel Bacho and Sales Systems. Great teamwork.
That's your guy, David. Ian Shefflin with the pass from Clemson, another Clemson guy.
Classic old school game. You just want to see him get more touches. I'm not sure that's going to happen out here today. It's pretty much a perimeter game unless you're taking it right to the rack. But Ian can play when he gets the ball.
He was the ACC's most improved player in 2024 in the Elite 8 team. And how about this game last December, David? A career high 20 rebounds in an upset of number 4 Kentucky. You get 20 boards against Kentucky, you're doing something right.
You're doing a whole lot right. And, he's the kind of guy that can change the game given the opportunity. He's got to get touches. He can make moves inside. He can create, and he can draw the defense. So when he does that, he can find the open guy.
Johnson gets the rebound for Sales Systems. Here's a spin underneath with ball's loose. It's going to be taken away as now K&D Rounds on the move behind Hunter. He kicks it out to Akins. He dials it up. That three-point shot won't go. Long tip out. It's going to be saved by Nate Santos. There's the hustle play. I know you love James from Santos. He does a lot to impact the basketball game and help the Anthony Grant's Flyers make some noise this past year. Underneath, it's Freemantle. Almost loses it. He's doubled up. Falling away. His shot won't go down. And there's a rebound for Sales Systems with Bacho.
Yeah, these players are having to get used to the physicality out here at Portsmouth and the up and down play with not a lot of whistles.
Ball's loose. It's going to go out of bounds and back to K&D Rounds.
That was a desperation pass. That was really not anything that anybody can handle. Those interior passes really, really are difficult, especially if you haven't played together.
And that's their 7th turnover for Sales System, which is a big reason why K&D has this lead, is they're just being too sloppy with the ball. Credit K&D's defense with that, but a lot of these are unforced.
About a second differential between game and shot clock. As Hunter's got it, he'll fake left, go right behind the back with the dribble. Handoff Freemantle to Hunter. He'll try a deep one from straight away, and it's switched home for Chase Hunter, the Atlanta native, who's known to knock him down from deep for the Clemson Tigers. And at the horn, it's going to be off the mark, but a 23-11 lead for K&D Rounds. 1 quarter in the books at the 71st Annual Portsmouth Invitational Basketball Tournament. We'll step aside and come back with more second quarter action around the corner right here from Portsmouth, Virginia. Second quarter about to get underway here from the 71st Annual Portsmouth Invitational Basketball Tournament at Churchton High School. Alongside David Solomon and James Blackburn, I am Matt Hatfield. Our score so far, it's K&D Rounds 23, Sales Systems 11. K&D Rounds, pretty balanced attack so far for them in terms of the scoring in this one. Chase Hunter with 6 points at 3 right before the first quarter concluded. 5 for Sean Padula, 3 each for Zach Fremantle and Jaden Akins. For Sales Systems, a 1 of 5 start from deep, 4 points for Daniel Bacho, he of Louisiana Tech. If you're just tuning in, and we thank you for doing so all across Hampton Roads, it is K&D Rounds in the green unis with Chase Hunter. It's going to be going the other way as it's a turnover for them, up by a dozen in this matchup. But I thought it was a great start for K&D Rounds, looking formidable and team that could be making a run to Saturday night if they keep this up.
Matt, I want to see Sales System be a little more deliberate, not over dribble as they're doing right now, and get more people involved, okay? There were no passes made in that possession. What does that show a scout? I'm not really sure it's going to be a lot of red ink.
And that was Ty Johnson who missed that one on the move. Ty Johnson, who really saw his usage increase quite a bit at UC Davis from the start of his career at Loyola Chicago, where he was not much of a factor to begin.
Yeah, Ty Johnson actually led the country, Matt, in usage percentage this year.
What are you talking about, James? What is usage? That's what the power company talks about. Come on, Jim.
That's just some stuff I read, David. Just some stuff I read. Just doing my research.
I'm following you, James.
But yeah, Ty Johnson averaged over 21 points per game, of course, this year at UC Davis. I mean, did everything for that team, but the question marks with him are, can he hit the NBA three, and then can he be a distributor? Like David was just talking about, can he lead an NBA offense? And the NBA teams know he can score. So, yeah, a lot of these guys this week are coming in, and they need to make sure they answer, one, the questions that teams have about them, but then also do what you do well. Do what got you here. Don't try to do stuff that's outside, your capabilities, and then you're going to leave with people shaking their heads.
Stay within the limitations, no doubt about it. And Hickman, speaking of doing what he can do well, 93.1% from the free throw line this past season for Gonzaga. He led all returnees in the West Coast Conference in threes per game coming in, and that second foul shot is also good. So the deficit grows for Sales Systems.
And we were talking, Matt and David, during the break about this K&D Rounds team. I mean, it's not surprising they're winning. I mean, you look at the amount of wins in college from teams like Nate Santos and Dayton and Chase Hunter and Clemson and Jaden Akins with Michigan State and Gonzaga, Ole Miss. I mean, just down the board, the winning programs all stacked together now of one team. It's an all-star team practically.
Roberts couldn't get the shot to go underneath. And yeah, players that are going deep in the tournament.
Yes,
that has a meaning when you construct a team, but also know that sometimes you have to sacrifice, play to your role, but do it within the team concept. As we have another whistle that'll send K&D Rounds back to the free throw line now with Zach Fremantle.
And look for these guys to start to settle in a little bit. The first quarter is just it's a trial process for everybody. First game of the tournament, first time these guys have played with each other. But as the tournament goes on, the games will start getting slower. Guys will get more comfortable in their roles in the offense. And
you're right, James. Guys start to settle down and they go, okay, we know how to play this game a little better than they're starting off right now.
David Joplin will come in for Kobe Sanders. This is a marathon at 12 games the whole weekend going through Saturday night here at Churchton High School in Portsmouth as the second free throw is connected on by Fremantle. Each team getting 3 games. There's 8 teams in this event, 64 players. So you do the math, 8 players per team, and many of these players will get a chance to play at the professional level, be it the NBA or overseas, as it's going to be a fall-away jumper. It's blocked. The effort there on defense from Fremantle up ahead. Padula's got it, chance on the run. He'll hand it off to a slashing Pierre, who throws one down and might have bent the rim, and he got a technical foul for doing so. An emphatic slam, but my, oh my.
Weak technical. I like that SLD, a little Shaq-like dunk here early on in Portsmouth, Virginia. Bring it down, big fella.
Rim rattling slam. We watch it again there as that was nasty from Jonathan Pierre from Hollandale, Florida, the 6'9" forward from Belmont, who put up solid numbers, nearly 14 points, over 6 rebounds per game this past season. Played sparingly in one season at Memphis, and then he really turned it up, known for his three-point shooting with 73 makes from deep for the Bruins of Belmont. But
originally he was a gymnastics guy.
I was going to say, that looked like trampoline action right there.
Well, the reason I don't like that technical is because when you guys that have played basketball, and I don't know anything about this because I never threw down dunks like that, but when you swing on the rim, he swung up and his back was to the floor, so he had to hang up there or he'd fallen off
James,
his
he
back.
didn't need to bring his knees up to the backboard, please.
I guess not. Hey, he just needed to show off a little bit, David.
Well, he definitely put a little extra sauce on it. That was dunk contest worthy.
I think there's a little too much mustard on that hot dog.
17-point cushion now. As that jumper short one's going to be no good for Joplin. It will stay with Sales Systems in the blue, trailing by 17. What do you think Coach Kenneth Harris, PJ Honor, and Damon Jones are telling these guys down big, but certainly it's a long way to go. You have a game beyond this one, still 2 more, and you want to not dwell on what's going badly right now.
Yeah, I mean, these coaches, too, are trying to figure things out. We talked about everybody, settling in. These coaches are trying to figure out what lineups work, who can play with who, what these guys can do on the floor, what positions can they play, who can be our lead guard, and, the team that can figure that out. We always talk about, David, who can adjust the quickest. Well, it's the same thing in this event. Who can adjust quickest wins it.
All that's true. I agree 1,000%. I'm not seeing the energy out there with the blue team. I'm not feeling it. Chemistry matters. I don't care if you're playing at the highest level or you're playing in a pickup game at the YMCA. There's no chemistry so far with the blue squad.
John L. Davis kicks it out, and a three-point shot's going to be knocked down from Wooga Poplar.
So if I keep knocking them, I think they'll start hitting more shots, don't you think?
He must be listening. Wooga heard you. He was part of Jim Larenega's Final Four team in 2023. Then he went to Villanova this past year. Long-range shot won't go down, but another offensive rebound for Pierre and the guys in green. And there's an and one for Nate Santos, making an early impression here in Portsmouth.
Wooga Popular, though, probably my favorite name this year at the PIT, and he just knocked down that three. He's a three-level scorer that shot 43% from three this year at Villanova, so that's what he does is knock down shots, and Sales System needs that right now as they're doubled up on the scoreboard.
James, am I going out on a limb? I'm just saying Padula is the difference maker in terms of what the energy he's bringing to his team. He does not have to score to make a difference, although he does knock them down when he's open.
He really set
did
the
it
tone
early on too. He did it early on, and they jumped out to that huge lead. And a lot of times in events like this, when you're winning at the beginning and you start good energy, and so on, you create good culture with your team, and that can be infectious, and that's what happened.
At the free throw line, it's good for Nate Santos.
And Nate Santos is another one of those guys that doesn't have to have the ball in his hands to make a difference. And K&D Rounds is just full of those guys, winners, guys that settle into their roles, X-factor players. Kind of a forced shot there, but a great block for Hickman.
5 of the 32 points for Santos, with K&D Rounds cruising right now, trying to add to it. It's going to be handed off from Pierre. Back over to Santos. He'll go to the left. Get by Davis. Help comes over to block the shot there with Juwan Roberts. Kick out corner three. Won't go. Hits the side of the backboard. It's going to come out to Ty Johnson on the move. Here's
Padula had great defense. He got back. He stopped that fast break.
And
just by his position, his stance was wide. There was no place to go.
And then he fought over that ball screen there too. Even though he picked up the foul, you like to see a guy being aggressive, getting in between the screener and fighting over it.
Shefflin will come in for Davis. Meanwhile, we also watch Kobe Sanders come back in to give Ty Johnson a breather. And you see that just his cerebral approach has been a big difference in this early going for K&D Rounds, up by 17. Wooga Poplar trying to get Sales Systems back in the mix here. Attacking, it's going to be a block underneath as Jonas Adu, the Durham, North Carolina product who played at Arkansas this past year, rejected it. And then a three-point shot, skip it across the way to Nate Santos. And we have another timeout on the floor as Coach Damon Jones, once the teammate of LeBron James, is in Cleveland. will burn one here with 6:02 to go in the second quarter. So we watch, I'm looking at three-pointer across the way, nothing but nylon for Santos and K&D Rounds.
That's a 5-point swing there. You had Adu with the big block, takes away the layup, get the three at the other end, and that's why Adu is here. You know, we talked about guys being here. He blocked shots.
We'll step aside here. More action coming your way from the PIT.
I wish there was a way that we would have taken a break every timeout. Like,
You know, there are some guys, you know, if you go to the park, you just want to play with. You know, that whole thing of he makes guys better around him.
He does.
Padula's making everybody. They're loving playing with him.
You can see it.
So no more Valentine's for him. That's it.
Well, the funny thing about Padula, though, is he's not really a point guard. He's just making the.
He's an undersized two-guard.
He's making the energy on the defensive end, and then on the offensive end, they just are spreading the ball around.
Well, I don't know that anybody's, you know, I mean.
And we're back here from the 71st Annual Portsmouth Invitational Tournament. Our score, K&D Rounds up comfortably 35-15 on Sales Systems. Second quarter here at the 71st Annual PIT with James Blackburn and David Solomon. I'm Matt Hatfield, and so far so good for this K&D Rounds outfit. Don't forget, we've got a 9 o'clock game coming your way later on tonight, 9 o'clock Eastern. It's going to be Norfolk Sports Club taking on Portsmouth Partnership. And then you have some more games coming up on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
James, you spent part of the winter touring Europe. You were in Romania, you were in France, you were in Germany, you were in the Netherlands. What are foreign teams looking for? When they evaluate, is it a different evaluation process than NBA guys to fit into a European style?
Well, very much so. I mean, mainly the NBA teams are looking at potential and where guys are going to fit down the line. Europe and these teams, they need guys that can come in next year. They can contribute right away, David. And they need the guards to be big-time scorers. They need guys to be culture guys. They're going to be doing a lot of intel work while they're here. That's another reason they come here. It's not just to see these guys in person, but it's to talk to agents, talk to scouts, talk to trainers, and find out what these guys are really made of, off the court.
Something that I find really interesting, Matt, is that NBA teams are holding interviews all weekend long. They identify young men that they might want to bring to their camp, but they want to eyeball them and have a sit down. So every one of these teams is doing intensive interviews.
So really the process for how the pre-draft goes for these professional teams hasn't changed despite college basketball changing so much here with the transfer portal and NIL. So the way some of these athletes have gone through that process, navigating it, the good, the bad, the ugly, players now getting paid, their lives are different, but for the professionals, and they're going to be that now coming forward, a lot of that hasn't changed as Padula knocks down another triple from straight away as he has been outstanding in this first half to put it up to 23 for K&D Rounds, and we got a whistle the other way.
Yeah, and Matt, you were just talking about the process. It hasn't changed at all. But as far as the European teams, it's changed. It's changing that a little bit just because now guys are making so much with NIL and they're staying in school longer. So that's really changing the whole landscape for everybody in pro basketball. But yeah, a lot of these guys are going to be making much more money in college than they are as pros.
I have to shout out Ed Miller, who gave me a great nugget as we go watch an attack move for Wooga Poplar in Sales Systems before we started off the PIT. I think he told me, he's one of the veteran scribes down on press row, of the 64 players, fellas, I believe 44 of the 64 have played at multiple schools in their college careers, which is something an alarming number, but I'm almost shocked nowadays that you have 20 that have stayed all 3, 4, 5, or 6 years at their one school.
That's almost even more surprising as that 20 have. I mean, we've talked about Jaden Atkins from Michigan State. I know him in particular, stayed only 4 years. That's even more surprising too, is that there's a guy that was only in school 4 years. So many of these guys, like you said, were 5 or 6 years now.
Poplar at the line. He spent 3 at Miami in this past season, his lone one at Villanova. Knocks down a pair at the free throw line. 38-17 now our count. The basketball, it's Jaden Akins, part of that Big Ten regular season championship team for Tom Izzo and the Spartans. His perimeter jumper won't go down as it heads back over to Sales Systems in blue with Jonell Davis ready to come back in. Davis, who had 30 points in that heartbreaking overtime loss at Chase Center in San Francisco to Texas Tech, was 11 of 11 from the foul line with 6 rebounds in his 39 minutes of play. I think consistency is a big word that a lot of these players are looking for, because we've seen flashes of brilliance from Davis, but also some issues at times too, as that one's going to be knocked out of bounds. But he's been a part of some winning teams at FAU and Arkansas that have made runs in the tournament.
Well, the NBA scouts really want to know what position he is. I mean, he's a 6'4" guard, but he's almost a 3 with his strength and his energy and his athleticism. But, can he shoot the 3 good enough to be a 2? He's not really a 1. So where does he fit on the floor?
Kobe Sanders' fall away is good. That rangy frame of his. Padula kicks it out in the corner. Little jab move as they swing the basketball. Padula gets it right back and knocks it down from way downtown. And Sean Padula hits his playground here in Portsmouth.
4 passes in that last possession. The previous possession on the other end was 2 passes. Not a complicated game.
Well, that's the difference.
Do not complicate winning.
He's getting it done here in this first half. There's a basket and 1 for Sales Systems as Ian Shefflin shows the post moves. Second team All-ACC this past year, just under a double-double, 12.4 points, 9.4 rebounds per game.
And the impressive thing about Padula hitting that 3 is a lot of times here at the PIT, you'll see players, especially early on, struggle with 3s because it's not only the NBA 3, but it's also a new basketball. It's a new environment, and a lot of players are missing short. But, man, Padula's coming out gunning and hitting them.
And, guys, the mixture of white, orange, and black lines can throw even the best of basketball players off, as Padula now is up to 11 points with a trio of 3s. And at the line here with the chance to complete the 3-point play, it's Shefflin. That one's going to be no good. Rebounded by Fremantle. In the front court now as Pierre gets it over to Hunter. A little over 3 minutes to go in this first half.
Double pin down. Great look inside. That just wasn't there.
Davis had the swipe, and now it's going to be a foul. They're going to count it with the continuation for David Joplin. He stand out for Shaka Smart at Marquette this past year. So we're taking a look at that one, going right to the rack for 2, and he draws some contact along the way.
Yeah, David Joplin has a great pro-ready frame. He's a 3-and-D type guy. Really good active defender that can guard multiple positions. The question is, can he shoot the 3 effectively enough to play at the next level? But he's going to have a long pro career wherever that is. And
to that point there, James, his outside shooting percentage has dropped each of the past 3 seasons from just under 40% to 35.5%, 32.3%. But part of that could be because the volume of shots increased, which is something, too, a lot of the scouts and teams are looking at is how you do with higher usage rates, as you touched on earlier, and different, higher level of shots. He went from a 6th man to a leading guy, and it's going to be back the other direction as it's another stop for K&D Rounds. We see this, the heady play here. Padula getting back along with Pierre and company, and they did not let them get an easy one in transition.
Yeah, and that came off of another quick shot for K&D, so I'd like to see him keep moving the ball.
We'll step aside. 17-point lead for K&D Rounds here at the PIT.
Welcome back to the Portsmouth Invitational Tournament on WGNT 27. Sponsored by the Auto Connection.
Thank you all of you out there watching on WGNT. It's the 71st Annual Portsmouth Invitational Tournament. K&D Rounds leading Sales Systems 41-24 with 2 minutes and 50 seconds to go in our first half. Matt Hatfield here with you alongside David Solomon and James Blackburn. Joe Allen on camera, and we thank our entire crew, the folks at Prep Spin and Beyond, for making this possible, as well as those at WGNT. As we watch the first of our 12-game marathon, we've got a game coming up at 9 o'clock Eastern with Norfolk Sports Club versus Portsmouth Partnership. We've got a trio of games on Thursday, 3 games on Friday, all starting at 3:15 Eastern, followed by 7 o'clock and 9 o'clock Eastern tips. And then it's the quad action, the 4 games, starting at 11 a.m. Eastern, then at 1 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and 7 o'clock Eastern on Championship Saturday, where you'll have consolation games for 7th, 5th, and 3rd place before the title match and the champion is crowned here at the 71st Annual PIT.
Matt and James, you know there's a game within the game. There's 2 minutes and 50 seconds left in this half. It is imperative that Sales System make a statement in the next 2 minutes and 50 seconds. Otherwise, this game could get ugly in the second half.
Well, we've seen some big leads overcome here at the Portsmouth Invitational Tournament over the years, but I'm with you 1,000%, David. It seems like if they don't make some type of jolt to get to halftime with some energy, it's going to be hard to overcome the way K&D Rounds have just been operating on all cylinders. Offensively, shooting over 40% from the floor, a perfect 7 of 7 from the foul line, and then defensively also causing some issues with their length and their awareness, their basketball IQ, as it's Padula at the controls right now. That Savi operator, known as more the undersized 2-guard type, but he gets it over to Chase Hunter. This time Jonell Davis takes a gamble, gets the steal, and he's going to shoot the gap and throw one down with a dunk on the other end. So maybe that gets them ignited to a degree.
15-point game. Let's see if they can get a stop.
That's how you got to get back into it, though, getting out in transition, getting stops.
A lot of contact there as Padula was basically being grabbed, wrapped, hugged, but not with a lot of affection by David Joplin in blue.
And, you know, you talked about coming back from big deficits. When you play 24-second shot clock, which is, of course, less than these guys are used to, you can get back into games quickly because a lot more possessions in each quarter.
So here's Padula at the line, 39.2% from way downtown this past season at Ole Miss. Hit that buzzer beater against Arkansas in the SEC tournament, so I'm sure he was good-natured ribbing Jonas Ado, his teammate now for this K&D Rounds Landscape Services team, about what he did in the SEC tournament. But, you know, Ado said, well, we went as far as you did. We went to the Sweet 16 too.
Well, he's one of 3 SEC guys in this year, or in this game, and one of many, many in the field this year, just like in the NCAA tournament. I believe it was 14 SEC teams, and then, of course, the national champions, Florida. So
quite a run for that conference, which has been known for years being dominant in football and showing it can excel on the hardwood, too, at a high level. Here's Jonell Davis with the left hand, switching to the right, pull-up jumper.
Great snake dribble that time, got to his pull-up. He got to his spot, just missed it off the back of the iron.
Fremantle gets the rebound, then the ball's going to sail towards the folks on press row, and it'll be stolen by Fremantle. Here's Davis attacking from the corner, spinning back against Fremantle. Gets rid of it. Here's a corner 3 for
Ty Johnson.
Ty Johnson knocking it down from deep, as he can be an instant bucket getter when he gets going.
Was that a 2 or a 3? I think they put it up as a 2.
It looked like a 3, but
they might have signaled a 2. We'll get clarification here. We don't have the reviews like they do in the NBA to go check it. Or even now in college basketball, a lot of times during breaks they'll go check it. We'll watch the replay again here. You see Davis kick it out. That foot might have touched the line. That right toe.
That's one of the adjustments these guys get used to being on that NBA 3. He would have made it. That would have been a 3 in college. And they're doing what you talked about, David, getting back into it. You wanted to see them get this game to single digits before the half.
I rattled off 9 quick points here. There's a free throw that's good for Zach Fremantle. 15 points and a key dunk in that comeback against Texas in the first 4 of the NCAA tournament. Spent all 5 seasons at Xavier.
One of the oldest players here at 24 years old, has a really well-rounded game, skilled, really good rebounder too.
So if he's one of the oldest guys here as he dials up a 3, that one just spun out. I wonder if they call him Grandpa, his teammates there.
He's not the oldest guy here, though.
I'm sure they call him a lot of things.
There's a roll for Jonell Davis, 14-point cushion, 44-30. K&D Rounds trying to keep them at bay here before we reach intermission. Here's Padula.
Got the mismatch. Give it back to Padula. He's got the mismatch.
Hunter tries a three from the top of the key. That one's way off the mark, and there's another rebound for Ian Shefflin.
I don't like that shot, though. Padula had the mismatch. Get it forced on the outside.
Ty Johnson has that one partially blocked.
Boy,
It's gonna be
Padula is everywhere, isn't he? Seems like
He's given Sales Systems all kinds of fits here in this first half. Little pump fake, one dribble, pull-up shot won't go down, but Chase Hunter's going to get out to it with about a 12, 13-second differential between game and shot clock here. Here's Chase Hunter. Stolen away here as Bachos got it. Chance for the last shot of the half for Sales Systems, trailing it by 14.
And despite that run that they had, they're still down 14.
so. They get the ball with 14 seconds and they play one-on-one. Not a good look.
And the fall-away shot as the horn sounds will make it a 44-30 lead for K&D Rounds in the first game of our 12 contests taking place here at the Portsmouth Invitational Tournament at Churchland High School. We'll step aside for our halftime festivities and come back with the second half in just a bit. Stay tuned.
James.
Back here at the 71st Annual Portsmouth Invitational Tournament, it's halftime. K&D Rounds on top of Sales Systems 44-30 alongside David Solomon and James Blackburn. I'm Matt Hatfield. Let's go through some of the quick numbers here so far in this first half. David, for K&D Rounds, Sean Padula leads the way with 12 points on 4 of 5 shooting from the floor, 3 of 4 from long distance. Also 4 rebounds for Padula, 7 points for Zach Fremantle, as he has been a force with 6 rebounds on the glass there as well. 6 points for Chase Hunter, who's got a couple of rebounds as well. For Sales Systems, 6 points for John L. Davis in this first half, but just 2 of 11 shooting from deep. 8 of 18 for K&D Rounds. And those are some of the numbers. Let's send it down to Mark Davis, who's downstairs here at Churchland High School in Portsmouth with more. Mark?
You got to do a better job of communicating.
Well, we are live back here at halftime of Game 1 of the 2025 Portsmouth Invitational Tournament. Right now, K&D Rounds Landscaping holds a 44-30 lead over Sales Systems. We're happy to be joined now by Michael Morris, the chairman of the PIT board. Michael, thanks a lot for joining us today. Hey, Game 1, is there kind of a weight off your shoulders once everything tips off and gets going?
Oh yeah, we've got over 100 volunteers, and so once the games start, it's like, wow, we've made it, we got there, and off we go.
You told me something interesting on Monday, that this is the only volunteer event pre-draft for these guys. Everything else is for profit or run by the NBA.
Correct. Most of the pre-draft process is run by the NBA, and so for 71 years, we've been an all-volunteer group, and we put this on, and the NBA loves it, and they come and they support us to do it.
Is it still amazing to you just with the talent this attracts, the scouts this attracts? You were telling me earlier that over 240 scouts are here from NBA teams.
Yeah, it's interesting you bring that up because we ran out of NBA credentials. We printed 250. There's more than 250 NBA folks here, so we're glad to see them, and they're here. Obviously, they saw some talent on the list and want to be here to watch them.
Well, and there's so much you're doing. You're organizing. You have annoying media guys coming up and asking you for interviews at halftime. Do you get a chance to sit back and enjoy the basketball at all?
Yeah, it was great to watch the first half. So you get ready for all this, and then finally the game starts, and you get to enjoy the game. And that's what we love about it as volunteers. It's like the games have started. We get to watch these guys now. You know,
and you're putting on this here in Portsmouth at Churchland High School. What are some things you want people to walk away from here thinking about Churchland, Portsmouth, Hampton Roads?
Well, this is really for a whole week. This is the center of the basketball world. It comes to nothing else brings the whole world of basketball to one place like this does. So we're fortunate that the NBA and all these players want to be here, that we just love doing it, and it showcases Portsmouth.
And almost all of these players will be pro in some capacity.
That's correct. So last year all 64 ended up playing pro somewhere. About 5 made the NBA, about 25 made the G League, the rest played overseas. So they'll all play pro somewhere.
What's it like when you turn on the TV and see a guy that we hosted here?
Oh, a lot of pride. We watch the Summer League, and a lot of our guys play in the Summer League, the NBA Summer League, and then we'll watch next year and say who made the team, who made what team, who made the G League, who made where. And so we kind of follow them as well. We have some folks that kind of watch the European leagues and see how they're doing overseas, and so we've got guys that are performing at a high level overseas.
Well, and another thing that I think is cool is, it's a national tournament, but it's such a local event in terms of production and putting it on. You were telling me the other day that, there are some of these volunteers and some people from maybe the first tournament back in 1953 who still come to watch. So there's some deep roots planted here.
Well, yeah, I'm just going to mention his name. Booty Baker helped start the tournament in 1953. He's sitting over here in the front row. And so that's pretty cool that tradition is passed on from 1953 to 2025.
Fantastic. Well, Michael Morris, thanks so much for joining us. Hope everything goes well. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
We're going to have more live Portsmouth Invitational Tournament coverage on WGNT right after this.
All right, thank you, Mark, so much, as it's K&D Rounds on top of Sales Systems 44-30. You heard from the chairman of the PIT, Mike Morris. We've got some second half action coming your way here in just a bit from the PIT alongside David Solomon and James Blackburn. K&D Rounds looking impressive. Don't forget we got Norfolk Sports Club and Portsmouth partnership coming up to cap off our first night of festivities here, but so much basketball. If you're a hoops fan, a junkie, this is the place to be all week long.
Matt, I'm looking forward to seeing how these two teams come out in the second half. It's really critical. This is not rocket science. Are these teams hungry enough to sustain what they've done? And certainly talking about K&D Round. And will Sales System come back, get some defensive stops, and cut into this 14-point deficit?
No, exactly, David. These guys always have to remember that no matter what the score is on the scoreboard, they're always being evaluated, not just in their play, but also their energy.
Look, there's no question these guys are terrific ball players, but people are seeing you, as I said earlier, for the first time. We want to see how you compete in an adversarial situation.
Exactly. No, I can't agree enough. And you don't want to get the week started on a bad note. You don't want to come out and lose 20 points first game.
We'll take another timeout. Third quarter's coming your way in just a bit here from the 71st Annual Portsmouth Invitational Tournament in Churchland. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to the Portsmouth Invitational Tournament on WGNT 27. Sponsored by the Auto Connection.
You're watching our coverage of the 71st Annual Portsmouth Invitational Tournament. 64 of the top college basketball seniors from around the country showcasing their skills in front of hundreds of professional scouts, general managers, and agents. Alongside David Solomon and James Blackburn, I'm Matt Hatfield. Third quarter about to get underway here from the PIT at Churchland High School, the location for this tournament for decades now, as it is K&D Rounds in the green uniforms if you're just tuning in, on top of Sales Systems wearing the blue jerseys by a count of 44-30. The winner of this game moves on to play coming up on Friday at 7 o'clock in the semifinals. Loser of this game will be playing the consolation game coming up at 3:15 Eastern tomorrow on Thursday, April 17th. Here's a lob underneath as it's going to be K&D Rounds in the post with Jonas Adu. Started out at Tennessee, physical presence, and finished up at Arkansas. Kick out to Santos for three, and it's swished home for Nate Santos.
Passes, Matt. 7 passes.
And not only that, David, the ball went side to side, made the defense move. I mean, what a way to start the game or the half for K&D, and Santos splashing 3.
Textbook ball movement as it's a 17-point lead. Got a whistle taking a spill there as it's hitting the deck. Pancho.
That was one of my pet peeves, David, last year, was how many off-ball fouls we saw at the PIT. David and I come from the older days of the PIT where you'd have to draw blood to get a foul called.
No blood, no foul. There's the maneuver here as it's kicked out. 3 in front of the K&D Rounds bench that is drained by Ty Johnson.
But you got to get back. You got to get back. I mean, nobody picked up the ball. Padula didn't even really look like he wanted to take it in. He kept waiting for somebody to cut him off, and nobody did it.
He could have just
emptied up.
He could have driven an Escalade, a Chevy, anything down that opened that huge hole there.
Yeah, David, you talked about the effort coming out of the half, what it's going to be, and right there it wasn't shown.
Well, if I'm a scout, and I'm just imagining these guys are all writing down Padula's name is at the top of their pad right now.
First free throw is good for Padula. One more coming for him. So far in this game, 11 of 12 from the charity stripe for K&D Rounds as a team.
I just talked to a scout at halftime that was comparing his game to Peyton Pritchard. I thought that was a really good comparison of Padula.
Pritchard, who played at Oregon, and then now with the Boston Celtics. We're getting ready for an NBA first-round playoff series against the Orlando Magic,
who had a big win last night against the Atlanta Hawks.
Yeah, won their play-in game to secure the number 7 seed in the East. Cleveland, the number 1 seed in the East, and the number 1 seed in the West. Of course, Oklahoma City. There's a chance for an and one, but it doesn't roll down for the guys in blue, and that was Daniel Bacho. He had a Paris, France.
Getting to the foul line early in the second half, slowing the game down, chipping away, could mean a difference. Let's just see.
Dan Bacho, really efficient, really good around the basket. Shot 69% this year from the field, and he's also a good rim protector too. So that time didn't finish, but got himself an easy trip to the line.
Great mechanics on that foul shot as well.
Free throw shooter.
Yeah, second in the nation in field goal percentage in the Conference USA Defensive Player of the Year. As that free throw is swished home. 49-35 now the tally in favor of K&D Rounds as they bring it up the court behind Jay Nakins. Part of an Elite 8 team for the Spartans and Tom Izzo. Santos has it. Back over to Nolan Hickman. That one a little bit short.
That's one of those situations we talked about. Usually he's doing that step back from college range. That NBA line is a totally different ball game. Takes these guys some time to adjust to it.
Padula takes the seat. Inbounded for Sales Systems now as Ty Johnson has it into the front court. Two defenders halting him as they swing it the other direction. Janelle Davis going to back down now against Santos. Actually, they'll kick it out. Here's Johnson for three as he knocks down another one from distance. He's up to 11 now in this game.
11 points. I think things are tightening up. We'll see what they can do. Let's see if they get a stop.
Here's a deep one for Santos. Offensive rebound for Akins.
They did all that from inside-out basketball. Juwan Roberts, great passer from the low post. That's how it started.
Davis has got it. Davis using the screen from Roberts, trying to get by two defenders off the backboard. That one's going to spin out and rebounded underneath from
How's that
Jonas
not a foul?
Adu.
If he's they call it a jump ball, and he's wrapping him around the waist, so he can't.
It was a
Adu
jump ball before he hugged him, James.
Was that what it was? Okay, Adu can't believe
And
it.
he's got his mouth wide open.
Well, you know, I didn't know you could get a jump ball. He did either from grabbing him from behind. But, you know, we just talked about that possession where they went into Roberts, they got an inside-out three, and then the next possession they come down and it's no passes and they shoot a shot, they miss it. So Sales system just has to be more consistent. You see flashes from them, what they could do, but to get back into this game and get the lead, they're going to have really good ball movement.
Inbounded now for K&D Rounds. I was reminded before the game by one of the coaches, there's a little up and under move. Santos has it deflected. Kick out. Here's a corner, or wing three, I should say, and it's going to be drained as that one is good for Jaden Akins. The Farmington, Michigan product for K&D Rounds to go up by 14. I was reminded by Pat Doolin earlier, these coaches also take a lot of pride in this event. I know the players are, but Jim Markey, Chris Furman, and Deion Thompson did not have a favorable finish last year. I think they were the last place game. They want to win this thing this year, I was told, before we hit the airwaves today, as that one's not going to graze the iron, as Adu is going to get it for K&D Rounds. They certainly, if they keep this up, will not be playing in the first consolation game on Saturday as they throw it in the high post area. Adu's got it, going to back down now against the big man in Bacho.
Not sure why they doubled that. When you have, I mean, Daniel Bacho is a great defender, and Adu's not really a back-to-the-basket scorer, so they got lucky on that one by doubling and leaving a guy open on the wing. But you talked about the coaches there, Matt, and Deion Thompson, the coach there for K&D Rounds. He's still a player. He's actually going to be going back playing in the BAL here in a couple of months. And still getting after it, ex-Tar Heel legend.
Yes, it's funny you say that because when I walked in, he was one of the first to give me a firm handshake, and I thought to myself, this guy's still got some game left in him as he can go out there and probably take a couple of these guys one-on-one right now, the way he's still into shape and energetic and has to be pleased with his team's leader right now.
And I bet that translates right into the locker room. You know, player to player. This is the way you got to play if you want to take it to the next level.
Well, last year, one of the first games, I don't know if you remember this, David, a few years ago, a team got down to 6 players because they had injuries. So if that happens, maybe Deion can put on a uniform and strap it up.
Tough attack move for Wooga Poplar and makes it a 12-point game as they're trying to chip away. Damon Jones trying to work that sideline, a former NBA guard. Here's a pass down low. The little baby hook shot is good for Adu, and then again, that stops any type of momentum that Sales system was starting to get going. And Adu, known for his defensive abilities, if he can show some offensive touch, that will help his stock a little bit, and it's going to be a steal for Adu. Up ahead on the move. Here's Akins, who's going to race to the basket and throw it down with the left hand for the jam, and we've got a timeout from Coach Jones, Coach Harris, and Coach Honore as they'll regroup here with 5:26 to go in this third quarter. Let's take a replay look at that again as Adu gives it up ahead to the Spartan of Michigan State with the throwdown. Largest lead was 23. It's now 16, and we'll step aside with more action coming from the 71st Annual Portsmouth Invitational Tournament at Churchland High School. We now resume third quarter action here at the 71st Annual Portsmouth Invitational Basketball Tournament. 16-point advantage now for K&D Rounds against Sales Systems. And it's going to be Sales Systems in the blue throwing it in.
Another turnover for Sales Systems. That's not what you want out of a timeout at all.
Santos up ahead to Hunter. 3-ball doesn't go, but there's a whistle underneath. And in terms of the giveaways, guys, they've had way too many of them in this game.
I know they had 6 in the first quarter alone. I'm not sure what the total is now, but it's definitely got to be in double digits.
I believe it's now at 10 at last check, but we'll verify those numbers here when we get an opportunity. They swing it. Hickman over to Santos. He out of Genevieve, Illinois. Hunter gets doubled along the sideline. Another whistle.
K&D's really spreading out Sales Systems right now. On the
They're in no hurry.
No hurry.
No hurry whatsoever. Keep making the extra pass. And this is what happens.
Shooting has actually dipped down to 38.9% for them, but here's a runner that won't go for Hickman and K&D Rounds.
Shefflin with the big boy rebound inside. That's what he does.
Able to get him in close, and also when it extends out to the high poster. Here's John L. Davis popping a 3-ball.
They've hit their share of threes this half, but they've got to get stops. And it just hasn't been consistent enough offense. They hit a 3 and then they have a turnover. You've got to get multiple stops and multiple scores in a row if you want to get back in this game.
Ball reversal now as Hickman's got it. Gonna dribble left. Can't shake Kobe Sanders.
Got shot clock down to 1.
At the horn, that one's going to be off the side of the backboard, so a shot clock violation.
At 24 will sneak up on you as a player, especially if it takes a while to get the ball across half court. Let's see if they've got another run left in them. Sales System needs to get this thing back to single digits.
So here he goes with John L. Davis operating at the controls. Kicks it out, deflected. Shefflin gets rid of it. Now Wooga Popper, tight rope in the baseline. Here's a deep 3-ball for Sanders. That one rims out. Rebound comes to Fremantle. Fremantle using the left hand to bring it up the floor as they get it past the timeline. Sub getting ready to come in at the scores table in Bacho from Louisiana Tech. Here's a 3-ball for Hickman. No good, rebounded by Sanders. And again, a 13-point lead, comfortable as Jaywan Roberts hands it off to Sanders. Davis has got it now, using the left. Fadeaway jumper is smooth and good for Janelle Davis, and it's down to 11, closest they've been in quite some time.
And look who's on the bench, David, for K&D right now. You got Padula and Santos. They're 2 glue guys while Sales Systems making this run. So you get those guys back in so we can get some better offense. Right now they're looking a little sloppy.
A tad disjointed to say the least here. That's another quick trigger from Hickman. It's no good. Shefflin gets the rebound, and they've lost some of their focus, which is natural. We see it happen often in the NBA and college basketball where leads can dwindle, maybe because a team just loses. You get that complacency setting in. Here's Davis. Nobody picked him up underneath, and Roberts found him. Now a quick timeout is called.
9-point game.
Good timeout.
Single-figure deficit. So here is Sales Systems on the move. They trail by as many as 23, and now it's a 32-18 burst. We've got more coming your way in the third quarter from the PIT. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to the Portsmouth Invitational Tournament on WGNT 27. Sponsored by the Auto Connection.
WGNT's continuing coverage of the 71st Annual Portsmouth Invitational Tournament. You see the host of scouts and GMs and people from the NBA in attendance here at Churchland High School. Third quarter of our opener of this 2025 event that has been a fixture in the Tidewater area of Virginia for several decades now. K&D Rounds on a bit of a run, trailed by as many as 23 midway through the second quarter. And now they've cut it down to 9 guys here, single digits, as they're going to have the basketball and trying to make things difficult on sales systems. Sean Padula had a bit of a rest there. We'll see when he does return if that'll be a difference-making situation as Santos misses the high post jumper. Underneath, it's going to be a rebound, but out of bounds. Looks like that was Bacho that had his heel on the out-of-bounds line. You watch the great camera work underneath. You see that right foot was on the black, out of bounds. Terrific work by our camera folks here at the 71st Annual PIT, watching with us on WGNT. We're glad you're all tuned in. That time it's going to be off the mark. Nobody home on that errant missile pass. Goes Wizamaya and almost hit the Juice Man underneath the basket there. He's an Old Dominion longtime supporter of Monarchs basketball. He's a fixture in the area. People know him, Ray Wittersheim, as the Juice Man. There's an attack move for Chase Hunter. Beg your pardon, for Kobe Sanders, rather. Across the way to Jonell Davis. Davis step back 3 ball. That one rims out. Offensive rebound for Shefflin, working hard underneath, and we see why that was one of your favorites coming in, David. Ian Shefflin, just that old school blue collar, put the hard hat on and go to work.
Indeed, and here we go. We're going to the foul line.
Some more free throws now coming.
Shefflin at the line, 2 shots.
Shefflin, one of 3 Clemson guys here, and had a great season this year in the ACC. Clemson did. Heartbreaking loss to McNeese State in the first round in that 12-5 that's always dangerous in the tournament. But Shefflin was just, the ultimate guy. We've talked about his rebounding and really good back-to-the-basket scoring. Great feel for the game. Will fit in really nicely with the high-level European club.
Those 2 guys, Shefflin and Chase Hunter, going opposite today, not as teammates. And then we'll see the third Clemson Tiger, Victor Locken, the 6'11", 250-pound center for Norfolk Sports Club, as they will be playing in our 9 o'clock Eastern game against Portsmouth Partnership coming up after the conclusion of this one. Here's a long miss and a rebound underneath. The boys in blue, Daniel Bacho's got it, and now here comes Jonell Davis trying to nudge them even closer. It's an 8-point game, and can it be a 2-possession game? Well, not on this sequence, as that one's thrown out of bounds. Possession going to K&D Rounds.
Those are tough passes to catch, especially when you haven't played together. That's just a doggone tough pass to catch.
Yeah, like even if he catches the ball, what's he going to do with it there? I'd like to see some better offensive decisions for both teams right now. Just some better, sets, some better decision-makings off the bounce. A lot of quick shots this game, a lot of tough contested shots.
Give Sales System some credit. They're very active in defense. They're getting some tips. They're making things difficult.
Here's Jay Nakins. So we're down to our last 72 seconds of this third quarter. With 1 on the shot clock, his deep range attempt won't go, but another offensive rebound as is Nate Santos collecting that one.
Too much one-on-one right now for K&D. A lot of one-on-one.
The last 2 shots were absolute playground shots. Nothing was done within the concept of the team.
Jonell Davis spins, misses that one. Rebound from Santos up ahead to Akins, who flushes it down. And that gives them some breathing room here.
Same dunk he threw down a couple of minutes ago.
10-point cushion. See Victor Locken making his way in the stands here to watch his buddies from Clemson. And Hunter and Shefflin go mano-a-mano. Here's Davis from the corner, working on Santos. Step back jumper, and that one has got the touch.
Davis, that's what he does. Gets
one more possession. Can they get a stop?
Gets to his spot. Santos has the height advantage here. Look to get it back to him.
Last 13 ticks. I'll tell you what, guys, Davis scores it in bunches, almost similar or reminiscent to a guy who grew up in Chesapeake for the Brooklyn Nets, Cam Thomas. He's got some of that scoring ability in his game. Here's a runner that's no good for Hunter, and then he follows blocked as the defense is there, and Sales Systems closing out the third quarter with a bit more energy here. It's a ball game, an 8-point deficit. K&D Rounds on top. Who will punch their ticket to the semifinals on Friday? Let's take another look at that dunk again as Jaden Akins. We've got liftoff from Churchland High, home of the Truckers in Portsmouth for the 71st annual PIT. Fourth quarter action coming your way.
Welcome back to the Portsmouth Invitational Tournament on WGNT 27. Sponsored by the Auto Connection.
And we're back here at the 71st Annual Portsmouth Invitational Tournament. Fourth quarter about to commence with K&D Rounds on top of Sales Systems 58-50. Game 1 of 12 here that will be taking place from this particular Wednesday night in April through Saturday, April 19th, 2025, the 71st Annual PIT, alongside James Blackburn and David Solomon. I'm Matt Hatfield. Big thanks to our entire team making this broadcast possible for us, part of Prep Spin and WGNT, watching it locally across the folks in Hampton Roads and on TV as it's an 8-point lead for K&D Rounds, but the guys in blue from Sales Systems making a push here as that 3-point shot to start off our fourth quarter is going to be off the mark, but there's a foul going against K&D Rounds, so it will keep possession to the right side of the floor. Fellas, how has Sales Systems gotten back in it? Has it been K&D Rounds taking their foot off the gas with Padula out of the game mostly?
I think K&D started, they took the foot off the gas, but also Sales System is starting to show a little bit of fire. They did not play with that fire.
Empty trip as that shot doesn't go down, but Padula's got it. Being guarded by Joplin up top to take that. It's going to be Santos back to Padula. And stepping out of bounds, that heel, it caught Chase Hunter, who's not been as productive in this half as he was in the first half, but he got off to a pretty strong start.
Yeah. He is capable of filling it up, as we said earlier. So I'm not sure he's looking for his shot like he was earlier.
Well, he shot a few quick ones there in the third quarter when Sales Systems was making a run, but great pickup on the loose ball. Well, they've been on the glass hard.
Look at Padula's hustle, but it's going to be maintained by Ty Johnson and Sales System.
6 seconds on the shot clock.
They've got to hurry here. It's going to be a bounce, and it's going to be a whistle with 2 on the shot clock. So they had him wrapped up, but then the cheap foul just when you think you got to bottom up.
It was a good call. They grabbed him. But that's a tough lineup right now for K&D to rebound against. You've got Shefflin and you've got Roberts, 2 of the strongest rebounders in the country. And Roberts is just a menace on the offensive boards.
That personal foul charge to Jonathan Pierre.
Oh, man, I thought that was going to be money for him.
That was a great pass.
It was.
A couple of chances to make it a 2-possession game. Here's Padula, the no-look feed to the right. 3-pointer won't go, but there's the follow after Pierre missed it. Offensive board.
Both teams hitting the offensive glass hard. And that was started by a great kick out from Padula, who's just been a really good playmaker this game. Like you mentioned, David, he's a combo guard. He can make stuff happen. Not a pure point guard, but definitely a guy who can make plays for his teammates.
Updated scoring numbers right now. Jonell Davis leads all scores with 15 points, 7 of 14 from the floor for Sales Systems, and he had 9 of his 15 in that third quarter.
Yeah, doing a lot of work in the mid-range. That's where he's really effective. Big, strong guard, can get his body into you and create space.
Chase Hunter up to 8 now. He's had a rough shooting game, 2 of 14 from the floor. Hit those 2 early threes. Padula's got 14 to lead K&D. 11 for Nate Santos and 10 off the bench for, check that, 10 for Jay Nakins, who's presently on the bench. Did start our game, though.
I'd like to see Roberts go to work a little bit more right now in the offensive end. He's doing a lot of kickouts, being unselfish, but needs to do some scoring himself. There's Santos with another 3. He's just as efficient as they come.
Long-range bomb. Here's an answer potentially. Joplin won't get it to go. It's going to roll out of bounds. It will stay on the right side of the floor. And Santos with that triple now up to 14 in the game to go with 7 rebounds, 3 assists. And checking out now, it's going to be Zach Fremantle. Looks like he will take a seat. So our 5 on the floor consisting of Padula, Adu, Santos, Pierre, and a Hunter for K&D. And there's a steal for Padula, who's
My goodness, he's
done that throughout the game.
He's going to set a Portsmouth record with steals just in game 1 here.
Ball's loose. It's going to be a jump ball with 7:54 showing on our clock.
And Padula and Santos right now combined for about 28 points, doing it all on both ends. And K&D's is going to be a tough out this tournament with those 2 guys leading you.
And where would they be without the accurate foul shooting? 14 of 15 in this contest for K&D, 93.3%. So jumping it up, it's going to be 23 and Green Pierre against 11 Sanders, and K&D rounds winning that jump ball. Padula lobs it up.
Pass.
Adu off the glass, no good. Rebounded underneath by Sanders.
He's killing his assist. Should have been an assist, David.
In the corner. Spin underneath, and there's a foul on Adu. A 2-shot foul will send Joplin to the line to shoot a pair.
But right now, David, we've been talking about Padula a lot, right? You know, about him on the ball, off the ball. In Europe, if he goes to Europe, where I think he could be really good, they're going to be wanting him to be on the ball a lot. And this is back-to-back possessions now, David, where he's made the right pass. That time on pick and roll to the roll man, and the time before that, just a basic drive and kick to the corner. Both times he didn't get the assist in this box score, but he made the right read.
Right. Those are the things that don't show up, but those are the very tangible things that make a difference.
Free throw no good for Joplin. One more coming.
Sales System needs to attack, slow this game down, get to the foul line.
Yeah, if they can get more stoppages, the better their chances are to chop into this 12-point deficit. They got it down to 8 a couple times. Here's Padula, penetration and kick, and Hunter's 3-ball still ice cold right now as Joplin gets the board.
Chase Hunter's just really struggled. I think 2 of 15 now from the field. Started off the game really hot, but just can't find it right now. But that was a good shot. That was in rhythm, good shot.
And he's made a whopping 204 threes in his career at Clemson. There's a fall-away shot that won't go down this time for 11 in blue. We saw Hunter 11 in green miss it. That was Sanders missing it, but the offensive rebound is collected by Sales Systems, giving him another chance, and they'll attack off the bounce. Kobe Sanders making it happen for the deuce.
That's tough to guard, a 6'8" guy that can take it to the rim like that. Another great pass.
What a feed. There. Hunter finding Pierre for the slam. Throw down.
That's Pierre's second throw down today.
He left his man in his tracks.
He made sure not to hang on the rim on that one.
Powerful finish. 65-53. Here's Jawan Roberts.
He's a great lefty.
Gosh, I want him to look more at the basket.
Look more at the basket.
He's got to be more aggressive.
Yes, he's a really unselfish guy. That time got the assist, but I agree, David. He's got to look to score the ball.
Ty Johnson's triple draws them closer. It's back to single digits again. Here's another flush, and this time Jonas Adu paying it off with the slam.
It looks like Padula, David, the first half was scoring was his main emphasis. This half, he's doing a great job getting the ball to his teammates in easy positions to score it.
Layup won't go for Johnson, rebounded by Padula. Amazingly, Adu only started 15 of 33 games for Arkansas after helping Tennessee reach the Elite Eight the season before, but he's playing big minutes here in this fourth quarter of the opener at the PIT. Looking to post up the smaller Johnson. They don't find him, and it goes out of bounds.
You had the mismatch inside. Adu had a much smaller defender on his back, and they decided to skip it the whole way across. Those are those little things. Make the easy play.
Davis, Poplar, and Bacho will come in after the break for Sales Systems, which trails it by 11, 67-56 with 5:40 to go. The folks in Hampton Roads loving the action so far at the 71st Annual PIT. Will step aside. More to come. The 71st Annual PIT at Churchland High School. A lot of folks coming out for this first night of action. 4 days in the month of April. People put it on their calendar whether they're from the Commonwealth of Virginia or outside of the 757 area code. Sales Systems trailing K&D Rounds by 11 with 5:40 to go in regulation. As Sales Systems in the blue will be inbounding the basketball. Don't forget, coming up 9 o'clock Eastern is our scheduled tip start for the Norfolk Sports Club against Portsmouth Partnership. And that matchup's got a lot of intriguing talent that will be on display, including Umar Ballo for Portsmouth Partnership, Jemai Mashak of Tennessee, who was a teammate of Jonas Adu before he went to Arkansas, and a last-minute replacement sub-in for R.J. Felton of East Carolina for Portsmouth Partnership.
That was an awfully quick shot in the possession.
Putback is there.
Out of the timeout, too. We talked about that. Out of timeouts, you want to see execution. You know these coaches are drawing up plays on the whiteboard.
Joplin getting that stick back to go. 9-point gap here. Between the legs dribble for Hickman. Gets rid of it to Padula. Open corner three for Santos. Can't ring that one up. It's going to be tapped out by Poplar.
Good chase down. Here we go.
Ty Johnson giving his team a chance to make it a two-possession game if they're able to fire in another three ball.
This is the time. You got to make a run down to last 5 minutes of the game.
They've hit 6 in this game, 3 of which have been by Johnson. Here's a spin from Davis. Kick out. Poplar for 3.
They got lucky. Popular is a good 3.
Oh, look at that.
Look at the tie-up as you see hitting the deck where Johnson and Hickman. No, it wasn't mud wrestling, folks. It's just another ordinary night at the PIT. But you see the effort being put on display from these two teams in crunch time. Jump ball coming up. It'll be Johnson and Hickman. Hickman's going to win it with Padula gathering it for K&D Rounds. Three ball is drained as Nolan Hickman knocks it down. 12-point advantage.
We haven't talked enough about Nolan Hickman this game. That's what he does. Great catch-and-shoot three-point shooter, over 40% this year.
He had missed his first 7 shots until that one.
Yep, that's what he does. Shoots it off the catch and high assist-to-turnover ratio.
And of course, playing with one of the best assist guys in college basketball, that being Ryan Nembhard.
That's a really uncharacteristic turnover that time by Santos, because right now you've got Santos, Hickman, and of course Padula in the game. Those 3 guys you can depend on to take care of the ball and make good decisions, and that's who you want in the game right now to finish it and get this win if you're K&D.
Davis trying to get some room to operate against Padula. Count it plus the foul, the hoop and the harm for John L. Davis, who continues to add to his lofty totals as he's now up to 17 points and continues to cook to go with 5 assists and 4 rebounds. There he is, getting in the lane and elevating.
He's a tough guy to guard with that big body of his.
We've got another timeout, but the finish is awaiting us. 3:54 to go. 10-point advantage for K&D Rounds. You're watching the 71st annual PIT on WGNT.
Secure Sports Medicine. Let the experts at
Welcome back to the Portsmouth Invitational Tournament on WGNT 27. Sponsored by the Auto Connection.
And we're back here at the 71st Annual Portsmouth Invitational Tournament. Our score, K&D Rounds on top of Sales Systems 70-60 alongside James Blackbird and David Solomon. I am Matt Hatfield. Guys, it was an early lead by 23 points for K&D Rounds, but Sales Systems has made a run here in this second half.
Yeah, they've gotten back into it, getting to the foul line. A lot of it thanks to John L. Davis out of Arkansas, you're going to see here, going to the line for 2 to get this thing back to single digits. And, you know, K&D is just kind of taking their foot off the gas.
Donnell Davis with 1 shot.
Davis at the line here, who's really been in a groove, now up to 18 points in our contest. Leading score for either side, 14 apiece for Padula and Santos. Padula wearing 4, Santos wearing 10 in green if you're watching. Ball movement as it's Fremantle getting rid of it. Pierre's got it.
Good active defense by Popular that time.
Jonathan Pierre had that nasty jam earlier. That shot's going to be no good. Rebounded this time by Joplin.
Really good defense by Popular.
Didn't they need to take that shot at that particular point, though?
No.
Ball is loose. And look at the
turnover.
Hustle as Zach Fremantle.
Just a really bad possession, just dribbling it right into traffic.
Well, that's been the story of the game for Sales Systems, you know, bad shots and turnovers.
They need to change the basketball because they have worn that one completely out.
You'll have to take that up with the tournament directors there, David. You like to see both teams just get better execution here in the last 3 minutes of the game.
Higgins going to dribble left.
Pace.
Back over to Santos. Face-up action now for Fremantle. Now looks to back down against Bacho. Underneath, Santos is rejected by Joplin, and it's going to go out of bounds, but it will stay.
2 on the clock, though. 2 on the clock. Let's see if they notice it. I'm surprised Padula right now is out of the game. To be honest with you, for K&D, he's been the leader of this team the whole day.
Well, he does have the 4 fouls.
Okay. Do they play 6? I have to look at my notes. They might play 6 here.
And that's going to be a horn sounding.
You know, that's a rule that we talk about all the time, that they should allow a run out on that instead of the turnover. But, James, when you and I meet with the commissioner and discuss rules for next season, that's something that should come up.
When the World Basketball Committee asks us for our advice, we got plenty to give them.
We'll bend the commission's ear. There's a steal that's going to be taken away. Jaden Akins, but losing the rock, though. On the move now, it's Ty Johnson. Can it become a 6-point game? Yes, it can, as that triple is buried. David Joplin knocking it down, closest they've been, but coming right back in the jam on transition, it's Jonathan Pierre, who goes above the rim to make it an 8-point game.
I'm sitting here looking at my notes to see about the foul count, and I'm missing all the action.
Well, we're now seeing actually that he's got 5.
Okay.
It's been updated, our official stat feed, for those that are apologizing. So maybe it is 6.
I think it's 6.
Here's a deep triple that Ty Johnson.
5-point game, folks.
72-67. This once was a 23-point lead for K&D. Under 2 minutes to go. It's winning time. Nolan Hickman tries a step back 3.
Bad shot.
Quick trigger, and Joplin gets the board.
I mean, this is how they're getting back in the game. Bad shots.
Here's Ty Johnson, 1 dribble, triple, won't go down.
Great
Battle for the
rebound.
board. Look at John L.
Terrific
Davis.
How many offensive rebounds is that right now for Sales Systems? Because they have been all over the glass this second half. It's not pretty basketball, but it's effective. Right now they're getting it done.
Believe it or not, unofficially they were given 12 compared to 18 for K&D Rounds.
I knew both teams were all over the offensive boards.
But we're possession behind from the stat feed in front of us at the moment. Here's Janelle Davis at the line.
But this is what you want. You want to score points with the clock stopped. And Janelle Davis getting back to the free throw line where he's a really good free throw shooter.
He hits this one. He'll be the first guy to crack the 20-point plateau in this game. And that one's going to spin around and go down. It's like playing the skee ball at the arcade, right? Just watch it go skiing around those little chutes. 72-69.
Some of our younger listeners might not know.
Yeah, they have no idea what skee ball is.
They don't know what they're missing. Here's a nice high pick and roll from Padula.
Padula's floater is going to pop out. Rebound, a chance to tie now for Joplin and Sales Systems. Once out of this game, you felt with a 23-point lead. 1:17 to go. Who's moving on to Friday's semifinals at the PIT at Churchland High School? You have to come on back and find out.
One possession game. That's what we want. So I want to know how many timeouts.
Welcome back to the Portsmouth Invitational Tournament on WGNT 27. Sponsored by the Auto Connection.
And we're back here, the last 60-plus seconds of the first game in our 71st annual Portsmouth Invitational Tournament. A chance to make it a one-point game, and Jonell Davis does it for Sales Systems. Once behind by 23 in the second period, they have a chance to steal this one in the closing minutes. They've outscored them here in this fourth quarter by a whopping amount.
You can't let Davis get to the basket. That's what he wants to do. You got to make him shoot the ball. So.
21-14 spurt. Ball's loose, stolen away. Davis has the steal.
They've got a chance to steal this one, like you said.
20-second differential between game and shot clock. Davis wants a clear out. He's got 22.
He's got to have help on this penetration. Here it comes.
Double team comes. Kicks it out to Ty Johnson. Tries to scoot by Chase Hunter. Stops in front of the foul line. No travel call. He goes high off the backboard for two, and they take the lead. 73-72. The bank is open late Wednesday night at Churchland High for the UC Davis guard, Ty Johnson. Let's watch it again.
Is this their first lead of the game?
It is their first lead of the game.
First lead of the game.
I mean, my God, they went down 15-zip.
This reminds me of some of those.
But that was set up on the defensive end on a guy that had no business just dribbling the ball into eternity. And this is what you have.
Well,
this is what happens.
But guys need to figure out each other's games from the scouting perspective on the other end. You know that Davis is a driver. And over this half, he's been able to get to the free throw line. He's been able to get to the basket. And you've got to pick up that stuff. So, I mean, give Sales Systems a lot of credit, and then K&D's, you've got to be more efficient and take better shots on the offensive end.
41 points combined for Davis and Johnson, and they've had 30 in the second half, with Davis scoring 16 after intermission and Johnson chipping in 14 since the break. Those two have been the 1-2 punch for Sales Systems. LTD suddenly in front on K&D Rounds, grabbing their first lead with 25.5 seconds to go in our opening contest. Stick around, folks. This is just the first of a 12-game marathon over 4 days here at the Portsmouth Invitational Tournament.
David, what would you like to see here out in this timeout for K&D?
I want to see better ball movement. I want to see the things that gave them that big lead in the first half.
I mean, I'd like to see a pick and roll with Padula. I think he's been making really good decisions this half. I'd like to see the ball in his hands and let him operate and make a read. I like Santos, maybe a high ball screen from Santos. So it looks like Atkins might be bringing it up, but I'd like to see it get back to Padula if possible. See how they execute here.
Here it is. 20 ticks to go. Padula's got it. Two defenders converge. The runner won't go off the back of the rim. Ball's loose. Picked up by Padula. Might have got hit. Finally, a foul calls on the second try with 12.6 seconds to go.
That's going to be free throws. That's the fifth team foul.
Well, they had to get that shot off early in the clock so they could be in the situation they're in now.
They call the foul on Joplin.
Another offensive rebound. That's just about 20, I think, for the game for K&D.
Padula is 3 of 4 from the line this game. He's the only one to miss. They're 14 of 15 as a team. Can he tie it back up? He does just that.
Or we could be at an Elam ending.
I think David's asking for somebody to go for the win. He doesn't care which team.
I know. Yeah, that's what I would usually
waving
say.
you off over
We
there.
ordered a pizza. It should be here any minute now.
That media room's waiting on me.
Padula knocks down a pair. Another timeout on the floor with 12.6 seconds to go.
All right. So
K&D Round 74, Sales Systems 73.
and I have an idea of where they're going to go with the ball. I would think that Davis would have the ball probably on like a 1-4 low.
Last time out for Sales Systems in this game. They had two a few minutes ago. We'll take a timeout as well. Come on back for the finish right here from the PIT.
Who'd have thunk it?
Welcome back to the Portsmouth Invitational Tournament on WGNT 27. Sponsored by the Auto Connection.
And you're losing.
And we're back here at the PIT, 12.6 seconds to go. K&D Rounds 74, Sales Systems 73. A back and forth finish as we watched Jonell Davis hit a couple of free throws, and then Sales Systems watched K&D Landscape get a couple of free throws from Sean Padula to put them back in front.
And look to see Sales Systems right now attack the basket, David. That's what they're going to do. Between Ty Johnson and Jonell Davis, you got two guys that can really slash, get to the basket, put this game in the referee's hands.
Johnson's jumper in the paint with 21 ticks, actually with 25.5 ticks to go, put them in the lead. It's going to be inbounded by the guys in blue for Sales Systems, Ty Johnson. And they just used, according to our board here, the last timeout. One remaining for K&D Rounds. Here it is, inbounded with the basketball. Jonell Davis has got it. Past the timeline. Dribbles to his left on Padula. Looks to attack. Runner won't go down. Tapped at. Rebound's going to be a tie-up between Daniel Bacho and Nate Santos. So we've got a jump ball with 2.1 seconds to go.
This is almost like a special team situation in football with the jump ball. Placement of players is very, very critical right now.
The 6'11 Bacho in blue against the 6'7 Santos in green. All they got to do is win the jump if you're K&D Rounds. It goes through the midst of Robertson. Santos secures it, and that will wrap up our ball game. Final score, 74-73. K&D Rounds survives after coughing up the 23-point lead. They trailed for all of 9 seconds in the closing seconds of our fourth quarter, but they pull it out thanks to the heroics of Sean Padula, finishing with 16 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists. 14 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 dimes for Nate Santos. Jonell Davis and Ty Johnson scoring 22 points and 19 points respectively to keep them in it, and we had a fun finish.
Hey, Matt, if this is any indication of what this tournament holds, this was one heck of a first game.
So we've got action coming your way for our nightcap here on this Wednesday, Norfolk Sports Club versus Portsmouth partnership. I want to thank our entire team from David Solomon and James Blackburn to Mark Davis, William Warfield, our cameraman Joe Allen up top, and we'll be back with the finale here. Stay tuned. You're watching our coverage, the 71st annual of the PIT on WGNT.